I got scammed on Mercari. As you can see, I'm quite the avid video game collector, and I've been buying and selling on Mercari since 2016. I first found the platform when it started. Their big pitch to people was, hey, try us out, no fees. And I think for the first year or so, there was no fees whether you bought or sold, and so a lot of people tried it out. And it was really cool. It encouraged a lot of negotiation, a lot of back and forth. So as someone who was selling on Amazon mostly and a little bit on eBay, I was intrigued, and I started finding a lot of fun on Mercari because a lot of people who bought and sold and were interested in the same things that I was back in 2016 were also there. And so like the marketplace felt really good. I've kept my profile up. It's been a little bit dormant, but I still had some listings on there, and actually just recently had a transaction where I sold something and was very happy with the whole experience. And then something happened. This experience was so bad that it's caused me to close down my Mercari storefront. And then also it's caused me to think a lot about just the mechanics of the online shopping market experience in the digital storefront in ways that sort of made me value other ways that I do business online right now, both as a buyer and as a seller. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'm not a hate channel person. I want to share my experience and what I have gone through so that if you also might be a collector or are buying things online, that you're just informed and that you get good information that helps you know what to look out for so that you don't have to deal with this kind of thing yourself. Secondly, my hope is that I believe people can change. I believe companies can change. And I don't want Mercari to necessarily go back and refund my purchase after everything that happened. I want them to change their policies and be a great marketplace again, because when there's a great marketplace, it's a lot of fun. The way that they're set up right now, it really is not a place that I can trust or feels safe for going and buying things. So here's what happened. I wanted to buy the Castlevania Advance Collection on the Nintendo Switch from Limited Run Games, and it's a big collector's edition that retails for around $300. A seller had one up for $240. I offered $200, and they accepted the offer. And I was like, great. And in my mind, I was kind of like, that's obviously 30% off what it normally goes for. I've had good deals like that before. As soon as I made the purchase, I was like, something feels wrong. And then I went in and I looked at the buyer's profile, and I was like, I should have just been so much smarter. The buyer's profile had 0 reviews. That should have been everything. I should have just stopped. I should have been like, cancel transaction, my bad. But it was too late. And I think that's a smart thing. They didn't put the item up for $100. They put it up for like $250, $240, whatever. I don't remember. I don't have this all memorized. They accepted my offer of $200, which sounds like a really good deal, as opposed to too good to be true. I was looking for a cinema camera recently, and as I'm searching through, there's all these cameras listed. I was looking at Blackmagics, I was looking at Sony FX30s, I was looking at all these different ones that are like a few $1,000s. There's a bunch of them listed on Mercari for under $1,000. I was just going like, how do all of these people get away with this? It seems like Mercari has, firstly, a scammer issue where there's just so many listings right now of different items that are clearly fake listings. No reviews, the price is way below market. And as buyers, when you're going onto a platform, particularly Mercari, if there are 0 reviews and the price is too good to be true, don't do what I did and just make the purchase. It's probably a scam. Now here's where Mercari is different than other selling platforms. What happens is when you make a purchase and it detects that that purchase has arrived at the location, you get a ping on your phone. And from that moment, you have 72 hours to review and rate your transaction experience. And then that's it. You can't go back and do a return 3 weeks later. It's just done. That's kind of an incentive for sellers because they don't have to worry too much about people being shady and like breaking something after a couple of weeks. But it's also risky because you could buy something and then 3 weeks later it could just legitimately break from just being poorly shipped or poorly made, or maybe you're on vacation and you get home 3 weeks later from when you ordered, I don't know, whatever. But here's what a lot of scammers will do. You'll make the purchase, it'll say that the thing has arrived, 3 days will go by, you might forget to review it, you might forget to check the item, and then if you haven't rated that person, the funds are released to the seller, and that's the end of the transaction. Lately, there's been some way that scammers will ship something and they'll either send like a fake coin, which has been like a popular scam. You can see a lot about this stuff on Reddit, or they'll ship it in some way that it says it arrived, but it clearly did not. It did not arrive, but somehow the system says that it did. And then at that point, you have to say like, hey, it's not there. And then it's like, well, did you check with the post office? Did you check with your neighbor? I've more than once had something that I've sold to someone say that it arrived at their location, and then the next day it showed up. I've had that happen maybe 5 or 6 times in my 1,000+ transactions. So it can happen. But if you are just kind of like trusting, maybe my neighbor got it, I'll check with the mailbox, but I got work today and tomorrow. 3 days goes by, and let's say it didn't arrive, you're just stuck. Let me continue with the Castlevania story. So I contact the seller and I say, hey, like the thing hasn't arrived, but I'm pretty sure this is a scam. Their response to me was like, oh, I'm so sorry, whatever. It was meaningless and nothing. It looked like a bot wrote it. And so then I was like, no, this is absolutely a scam. I was like, I have to have evidence. You have to have evidence that you got ripped off. You can't just think you got ripped off. What I did was I searched for the item on eBay. Sure enough, there's a listing for the item for like $300+. It's the same exact image. It's not a stock image. It clearly looked to be someone's real item, not just a photoshopped item. What the seller did was they grabbed that image, they saw the price, they put it on for a bargain price, they accepted whatever offer came through. Mercari sided with me. I gotta give you the thumbs up for that. Their resolution, though, is the part that angered me and is the reason that I'm making this video. What happened next was they said, hey, we're crediting back the money you spent to your account. Not we're refunding it to your bank account, we're crediting it to your Mercari account. I would rather have it go back into my bank account, and also the balance will remain in your Mercari account for 90 days, after which it disappears. What? That means that I have to find things to buy on Mercari in a period of 90 days, and if I don't spend the money, they just keep it. This is so... I found a couple of things to buy, and I'm like, maybe I agreed to this. You know, when you like sign up for an app or they're like, hey, we changed your terms and conditions. Maybe I agreed to it and I don't recall it. But if you're a new person on Mercari and you buy something, just know that it's a part of their policy and the way that they run their business, that if you have something happen to your purchase and your money gets refunded to you, it doesn't go to your bank account, it goes to your Mercari account, and you better respend it in 30 days. $200 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for any item. We can get into that in another video. The point of it is, that money should have just been refunded to my account, especially given the nature that it was a scam. 3 months go by, the 90 days passes, and I'm like, oh, I probably should try and find something to buy. So I'm like, I don't know what to freaking buy. I go to buy a Nintendo Switch game, and I click to add it to my cart, and I'm about to check out, and I notice that like it's gonna charge me money. I'm like, wait, what? My 90 days had expired. Now I just have to be like, well, it's a $130 loss. I'm not looking for pity, and I'm not looking to hate on Mercari. People have great experiences on there all the time. I did for 8 years. And also, living in an imperfect world, every app, every company, every group has ways to scam people. It's human nature. People will try and find ways to take advantage of others. I understand. I'm not looking for pity. I'm not looking for any, like, if you do a super thanks, I will donate it to charity. Like, I don't want your, it comes with the territory. What this made me think about, though, is that digital online marketplaces and e-commerce in general, we've made an implicit agreement. And that is that when I go into a storefront, I can see and hold the item. I can see that it's factory sealed. I can see the condition right there. I make the purchase and the transaction's over. Can I get scammed there? Of course, we all can. But if you want to keep my business in the short term, or in the long term, you have 2 different ways to handle this. If you want to just take my money in the short term, oh, too bad you got scammed, like, peace out. If you want to keep my business in the long term, like of those 1,100, 1,300, whatever transactions that I did, and you want me to keep using Mercari as a platform on which to sell things and keep you in business, you have every incentive to take care of your customers and make it a place that people can trust that they will be protected, not just from scammers, but from your own company. And that's the part that feels egregiously wrong. Online sellers, online platforms, online marketplaces have to go a step further to make sure that you can trust them. because you can't have the physical in-store experience. Other marketplaces, they take trust so seriously. Like, I'm working with Buy Encore right now. They didn't sponsor this video, but they've sponsored other videos on the channel. They verify you in a very particular way on that platform. It's almost invasive. They're protecting their community. And if they cultivate their community, it's a better community. But this is the thing that online marketplaces have to do, is they have to go a step further to let buyers and sellers know that you can trust them. So when there's a 12% fee for selling, and then there's also an additional fee on top of that for managing the community or whatever, I'm happy to pay that fee if it means that people can have safe transactions where they're not taken advantage of. If you can't provide that for me, then your platform is not one that's going to last very long. And that's ultimately the deeper thing about online e-commerce, online marketplaces. Trust has to be the biggest thing. If on eBay you want to return something, or you want to claim that you had something bad happen in your transaction with a seller, eBay a lot of times will side with the buyer. Why? Because if the buyer knows that they're going to go to eBay, and eBay is going to side with them in most cases, except for when there's clear evidence that the buyer is the scammer, what they're doing is they're saying there's no risk when you buy from us. There's no risk here. I recently bought something on Amazon. It didn't work the way that I thought it would. I've got to go make that return, but I'm super not worried about it. They have taken all of the risk for buyers out of the transaction experience. Maybe that's because of volume. They can do that because they have such high volume that, like, there's just margins built into any business for bad things like this to happen. Hey, like, if we have to take the loss on this percentage of items, it's okay because we do so well on all of this other, and there's such a high volume over. Well, you get what I'm trying to say. One of the things that Mercari's policy right now as it stands is this 90-day credit nonsense. Is what it does is it tells me that I can not only not trust people who are selling on Mercari, because there's a lot of profiles with these 0 ratings, way low priced items, but what they're also saying is that they're gonna take the money from me if I don't spend it. I can't trust them. The thing is, I want to trust you. Not only have you broken my trust, I'm closing my account, but it's gone for good. And part of that is that there's a lot of other marketplaces that have come up that are really compelling alternatives to Mercari that I'm using. Hey, real quick, I'm in the middle of the edit of this video right now, and I got another response from a supervisor at Mercari who said the following: as a buyer, we allow users to maximize the usage of all credits up to 90 days. We periodically send reminders. They basically say that the credits have expired and they double down on their policy. Okay, well, there you go. But then they send this message, which I thought was tonally missing the point. You can also earn Mercari credits by referring a family or a friend to the platform. We also offer new coupons and promotions periodically, so we do hope that you patiently wait for another coupon promotion. So one final recap: you got scammed on our site, you got a credit back, you didn't spend it in 90 days, so we're just gonna keep it, but you can tell your family and friends to join us, and you'll get credits that way, which will probably also expire in a time frame. And be patient, there's gonna be coupons too. So to summarize, I should have known better from the looks of things that I was buying into a scam, and that I should have just been smarter. I hope that you will be smart when you do that and you don't buy into these scams as well. And if you're scamming people, you suck. The other piece of this is that I really hope that Mercari will find ways to implement different policies that protect buyers from having these kinds of negative experiences, like reconsidering this 90-day refund thing. It's a lot of money. 130 bucks is a lot of money for something, and I would like to have it back in my account, but I've kissed it goodbye. If you're looking for other marketplaces on which to buy that are safe and really good experiences, I want to talk through a few of the alternatives and why I like them. The first of which being eBay. I love eBay. Probably its greatest advantage is they've been around the longest, and one of the things that I love about them is that the pool of buyers is so huge. The most expensive things I've ever sold in my collection that aren't in person, I have sold on eBay, and I have had nothing but positive experiences. I know people have had bad experiences, but I have had really good positive experiences as a buyer and as a seller. I've bought things from them before that didn't come the way that I thought. The return processes were facilitated with buyer trust maintained fully. I'm a big fan of eBay. I've been a seller on Amazon since around 2008, 2007 or so. I've just randomly sold little things here and there. One of the things that people have complained about Amazon is that sometimes the prices seem to skew a little bit higher. I found really cheap stuff on Amazon. I've found complete in box items on Amazon before at really great prices. I appreciate that you can buy on Amazon and you're usually getting a premium experience. A lot of the sellers on there are vetted really hard. And if you do something on Amazon that falls out of their algorithms in their favor, you get removed. They're that vigilant about making the buyer experience a top tier experience. So you might pay a little more for some items, but you're pretty much guaranteed to get what you paid for. I've talked a lot on this channel about Goodies before. I really like what Goodies is doing as a market to buy and sell things. They're a really collector focused marketplace, and you can pre-order a lot of items there from them at below retail prices, which is really cool. I've sold things on there before. I've bought things on there before. It's in its infancy. How it develops a community over time will be something to behold. I'm a total fan of Goodies. I think it's worth trying. I give it a thumbs up. Buy Encore is brand new. They're someone that I'm proud to be aligned with and been sponsored by. The biggest feature there that ensures trust is how they vet different people to become sellers on Buy Encore. The other thing is that when you buy something, you're not just getting pictures of something that can be taken from some other marketplace and put onto there as though it's that person's, like I experienced on Mercari. You're seeing an actual video of the actual seller showing the item. You can see the condition right there and everything. They've done a lot to really make sure that the big key commodity ingredient of a good marketplace experience, trust, they've done a great job at making sure, at least at this stage of things, that it's a trustworthy and safe marketplace. I have friends like Griff over at Pixel Game Squad who's selling on there a lot. Curtis is selling on there, and they're all raving about their experiences. The last one I want to highlight is Whatnot. I love Whatnot. I think it's awesome. It had some pushback initially when it first came out because of some things that I don't think had anything to do with Whatnot. It's like eBay Live. And what I love about it is if you get on Whatnot and you find something that you like, you can negotiate in real time, you bid in real time. As a seller on Whatnot, one of the things that I have loved is I have absolutely loved how much of it does a good job of creating some sense of community. There's a lot of the same people showing up in the streams, and it's really cool. I love the interactive element of it. People I've seen in my real-time auctions, stuff I've sold that's gone way under market, and then also I've had stuff sell over market before. I don't tell you what to do with your money. There are some things about Whatnot that I think go back and forth that people don't really talk about. That's for another video at another time. So what do you think? Am I an idiot? Should I have known better? Is this my fault? Am I making a big deal out of nothing? Or, hey, I signed up for the marketplace. I'm on the platform. If I don't agree to their policies, I don't have to sell on there or buy on there, and I should have known better. I also, again, I just want to continue your emphasis. This is not a hate channel. This is not a hate video. This is a critical video with the hopes to educate people based on my personal experience that I had and me giving Mercari every benefit of the doubt. I multiple times went back and forth with customer service and they just kind of were like, hey, 90 days, that's it. I've deleted everything off of there of my own from Mercari. It's no longer there. And as for Mercari themselves, I wish you well. I hope that you can fix some things that make it a safer experience for buyers like me. I literally wish no harm to you or to your platform, but I can't honestly recommend it when I've had such negative experiences like this one. I hope that that can change, because at one time it was my favorite place to buy and sell items for many reasons, and I'm sure it could be again in the future, but as for now, I don't trust you, and I'd like to.